Hi, I'm Leroy, and this is day one of my The Great Road Trip to Nashville collection. While planning our road trip to Nashville, my wife referenced the RoadTrippers app, which is what Aly and Al use when they plan their trip all the way to California. They strongly suggested it because it offered different experiences along the way while driving. My wife and I looked at the trip in 3 phases. The first phase was getting down to Nashville. We wanted to do that as quickly as possible. The second phase was Thanksgiving and enjoying my family. The third phase was getting back to Massachusetts. But before we could tackle any one of those 3 phases, we needed an RV to actually travel in. So I reached out to the company that Al and Al use called Cruise America to rent an RV. I rented a 5-person sleeping RV for 7 days. So I Ubered out to Worcester, grabbed the RV and drove back, and driving that big old thing was no different than driving the Viking cargo van that we used to transport our bounce houses and Ninja Warrior things. So that part I had in the bag. The kids were still at school and my wife was still at work, so loading the RV was pretty quick with all the toiletries and stuff that we needed to live out of for the next 7 days. We got the kids from school and we were ready to do this thing. The plan for that first day was to drive all the way to Pennsylvania, which was going to take us 5 to 6 hours depending on traffic, sleep over somewhere, and then continue the next leg of our journey. That plan quickly changed. As we were on the Mass Pike, the kids started getting carsick. The RV rode a little bumpy, and there were some missed expectations of what the kids wanted to do in the RV versus what they could do in the RV. And it was very obvious Pennsylvania was not happening. So we called an audible. I called my mom and dad in Jersey and asked if we could crash at their place for the night, and they happily obliged our request. We've done this drive so many times in the past that it was really easy to make it down there. We actually ended up stopping at a food truck oasis or paradise along 95 right outside of New Haven, and it was a really cool experience. We got to my parents' place pretty late, but in classic Watkins fashion, my folks had New Jersey pizza and all types of takeout and fast food ready for my kids to devour when we got to their house. And looking back, it was really nice that we were able to sleep on regular beds before we embarked on our 10-hour drive to Nashville the next day. And 10 hours is far to drive without kids.